Hello, this is going to be a quick review on some scientific notation and standard notation. This is the second video on scientific notation. If you are a little bit confused and want the more basic information, I recommend that you actually go watch the first video. This is just an extra practice sheet for those people who need it, but yeah, you should definitely watch the first video in the playlist on scientific notation first. So just to get the basic ideas down, that would be a good idea. So to start off with here, I'm going to go through each of these in order. The first one here, remember if it's a small number, it should have a negative exponent, and then we're just trying to get one non-zero to the left of the decimal point. So to get this decimal point in the right place, we need to move it over 2 spots, all right? So we know we're going to have times 10 to the, and then it's a small number, so it should be -2 since we moved it over 2 spots. All right, so that matches there, and then we just put in the 2.65. All right, 2.65 times 10 to the -2. This next one, it's a big number, so we know we're going to have a positive exponent. We're going to move it over 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. So that ends up being 5.3 times 10 to the +4, because it was a big number, so positive exponent. 3,400, big number. All right, we're going to start here. We're moving over 1, 2, 3 spots. All right, so that's 3.4 times 10 to the, and since we moved it over 3 spots and it was a big number, +3. Number 4 here, starting over here, this is another big number, so we'll have a positive exponent. We're moving it over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. So we get 1.01 times 10 to the +5, because that was a large number. All right, 45.01. All right, this one you might be thinking, okay, 45, that's not a very big number. But when we say big number, really, we mean larger than 1. Okay, so 45 is a big number. We're going to have a positive exponent here. We would just move it over 1 spot, though. So 4.501, there you see that only has 1 non-zero to the left of the decimal point. So moved it over 1 spot, and it's a big number, as in like larger than 1. So 4.501 times 10 to the first. Next one here, this is a small number. We're going to move the decimal place over 1, 2, 3 spots, and we get 6.71. All right, and since it is a small number, we're going to make it a negative exponent, so -3, because we moved it over 3 spots. Jumping back up here to the top, 392, large number. We're going to be bumping it over 1, 2 spots here, so that's 3.92. And since it was a large number, and we moved the decimal over 2 spots, it's a +2. Next one here, small number, we're moving it over 1, 2, 3 spots. All right, so that's 3.61. And since we moved it over 3 spots, and it was a small number, it's -3. All right, this one here, another small number, very less than 1, very small. Okay, we're going to be moving it over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. Okay, that gives us 2.3 times 10 to the, and since it was such a small number, -5 we get, okay? 0.010, another small number here. So we're going to move it over 1, 2 spots, all right? And then it becomes 1.0 times 10 to the, and it's going to be a -2 here because that was so small. All right, this next one, we're looking at 1 million. That's a large number, all right? We have to move it over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots to get the decimal place right there. So that ends up being 1.0 times 10 to the 6th. Positive exponent because it's a large number. All right, 4.50, this is kind of a funny one. So the deal is the decimal place right now is exactly where it needs to be, so we're not going to be moving the decimal over anywhere at all. So we leave the 4.50 just as it is, but to put it in scientific notation, you say times 10 to the 0th power. All right, going on to the ones on the bottom here, going the other way, we have 1.92 times 10 to the 3rd. The 10 to the 3rd tells you that it's going to be a large number. We move the decimal place over 3 spots. There's 1, 2, and then one more further than that, which gives you 1920. All right, this next one, 3.51 times 10 to the -7. We got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spots over. I moved it that way because we know it's going to be a really, really small number since it's 10 to the negative 7. Fill in the zeros there where needed. All right, end up having 6 zeros. So it's 0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, 351. This next one here, 2.3 times 10 to the 4th. All right, that's going to be a large number. We're moving the decimal place over 4 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we need to add 2 zeros there, so there's already 1 zero, adding 2 more. We get 23,000. Number 4 here, 1.901 times 10 to the negative 2. This is a small number, so we know decimal points going over here to the left. 1, 2 spots. All right, it's going to end up here. We need to put a 0 in there. And then I always put the 0 ahead of the decimal, which can confuse some people, but it's just, in science, it's good to put the 0 in front of the decimal point. So 0 point, and then we still have that 0.1901. All right, you can see that's still just moving the decimal point over 2 spots, and then we add that extra 0 just because it's more proper at the front. All right, 9.11 times 10 to the 3. Large number here, so we're bouncing this way. 1, 2, 3 spots. All right, need to put a 0 in there, so it's 9,110. Down here on the bottom, this is that weird case where it says times 10 to the 0, which really looks weird, but what that's saying is don't move the decimal anywhere, so you can just copy right over 1.76. Bouncing back up here. 4.29 times 10 to the 5th. All right, there's a large number, so we're going to bounce the decimal over here to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 3 spots there that need zeros, so it's 429,000 is what we end up with. 2.23 times 10 to the negative 4th. All right, that's a small number, so we're bouncing off to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. There are 3 holes that need zeros there. All right, so 0.0002, and then I add that other 0 up front just for good taste. So 0.000223. Next one, 1.76 times 10 to the negative 3. This is a small number as well, so we bump it over 1, 2, 3 spots. Our decimal ends up here. We need to put in another couple zeros there. 0.00176, and then adding that extra 0 ahead of the decimal point. 0.00176. Number 10, 8.65 times 10 to the negative 1. We're bumping this over just 1 spot, okay, making it into a smaller number, so we go over here to the left, 0.865, and then I add that 0 up front just to make it look good, 0.865. Number 11, 5.40 times 10 to the 7th. This is going to be a really big number, so we're going to bounce it over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros in there, and you see that it has 6 zeros altogether, so that gives you 54, and then 6 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's 54 million is what you get in the end. All right, 7.4 times 10 to the negative 5th. This is going to be a small number, bumping it over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. All right, that's going to have 4 zeros that we need to add there. All right, and then that extra 0 up front, 0.1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 4. All right, and that is that in terms of converting between scientific and standard notation. So an essential skill to have for this unit. If you have any questions on that, let me know. I'm going to talk very briefly about how to do these operations, but what I want you to do is do these in your calculator, and so I'm just going to really quickly summarize how to do this in the calculator again, and then I probably won't go through all of them because it's just about entering things in correctly in your calculator. And if you're struggling with that, you can come in and see me. Otherwise, I think these should be pretty easy as long as you know how to put them in the calculator. So the big thing here is I'm going to change how this is written a little bit. I get rid of this times 10 to the third, and I rewrite it 5, and you have to find that EE button in your calculator. It's 5E3, all right, plus 4.3 E4, all right, and you put that in your calculator. You should get out of that 48,000 or it says it wants it in proper scientific notation. You could call it 4.8 times 10 to the fourth. For number 2, that's 2.3, and then you use the EE key, E negative 4. All right, and then we have minus here, 6, E negative 5. You put that in your calculator, you should get 0.00017, or you could rewrite this as 1.7 times 10 to the negative fourth. I'm going to fill in quickly the rest of these addition subtraction answers and then move down below. Again, just double check your solutions, make sure you're putting these in right, and then come ask me if you need any more help. So there those are, and then going down here to the bottom, pretty much exactly the same thing. You'll just rewrite it, or put it in your calculator correctly. 3.5 E5, and then you hit the times button, all right. 4 E3, put that in. You should get out of there 1.4 times 10 to the ninth. Going on, this divided by 1, 9 times 10 to the fourth is 9E4, and this is really the strength of this, because order of operations can get messed up here if you don't use the EE key. So 9E4 divided by 3E2. Put that into your calculator, and you should get 300. We want to write this in scientific notation, though. So I'd call that or 3.0 times 10 squared. All right. Again, I'll just go through and fill out the rest of these, and then double check that you're putting them in your calculator correctly, and then other than that, ask me if you have any more questions. So there are the rest of the answers there on those.